check out this ooey gooey, delectable, and delicious looking cheese sauce. Would you believe me if I told you it is healthy and whole food plant-based? This is Maddie from Let's Eat Plants, and today we are making a healthy mac and cheese with a butternut squash cheese sauce. So the first thing we're going to need for this recipe is, of course, a butternut squash. And you're going to need to cook your butternut squash first. So there are a couple ways you could do that. You could either bake it or you could even steam it. And I will leave some links in the description box down below on some different ways to do that. I usually like to bake my butternut squash. I like to cut it lengthwise and just stick it in the oven for about 45 minutes or until it's fork tender. So once your butternut squash is baked or steamed and essentially cooked all the way through, you're going to want to take the skin off if you haven't done so already. Now, even though this squash is baked already, the flesh can be a bit difficult to remove. So if that's the case, then I will usually just take a vegetable peeler and use it to remove all the skin. After our butternut squash is cooked, peeled, and sliced into cubes, we're just going to add everything into the blender, along with 1 to 2 cups vegetable broth. I usually start with 1 cup and see if it's enough, and if not, I can add more later. We're also adding in a teaspoon of white miso paste, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of paprika, a 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast, and a pinch of pepper and salt if you wish. And we're just gonna blend that up. Now, I didn't realize how big this butternut squash is, so 1 cup of broth was clearly not enough. We want our mixture much more liquidy, so I'm just adding in another cup of vegetable broth. As you can see, it's now a much better consistency, and we just wanna blend it for about a minute on high until it's smooth and creamy. So at this point, you're going to want to taste your sauce and see if you need to add any additional seasonings. After tasting mine, I thought it needed a teaspoon more white miso paste for a bit more saltiness and umami flavor, as well as a bit more nutritional yeast. Blend it again and taste again. Once you have it seasoned the way you like, it's time to add our cornstarch slurry. So we're just taking 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and mixing it with about a 1/4 cup of cold water, and then adding that into our cheese sauce. And I'm also adding a 1/4 cup of tapioca starch. This is optional, but it will help to give your cheese sauce kind of that stretchy consistency that is familiar with cheese. So I do like to add it just to kind of enhance the texture a bit. And now we're just going to cook this up on the stove top to activate the cornstarch and the tapioca starch. And just heat it on medium-high for about 5 to 8 minutes, making sure you keep stirring so that nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan. Meanwhile, we're going to cook up some brown rice pasta. You could also use quinoa pasta, red lentil pasta, black bean pasta, whole wheat pasta, any kind of whole food plant-based pasta that you like. And since we're going to bake this macaroni and cheese, I decided to drain and rinse my pasta to stop it from cooking. And then of course, add everything into a pan. I am adding in a little bit of colorful cauliflower into this mix. Of course, you could use broccoli or any other vegetable that you like here as well. Then of course, adding on our butternut squash cheese sauce, covering it with foil, and then baking it at 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. You, of course, could eat it without baking it. Either way is totally fine. And now we have our beautiful baked butternut squash mac and cheese. Now call me crazy, but I like to eat my mac and cheese with a little bit of hot sauce. So I am just adding a splash of Frank's Red Hot sauce to mine. And there we have it, our beautiful butternut squash mac and cheese. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below. And with that, let's eat plants, and I will see you guys next time.